Alright, we'll try this again, guys. Morning replayers, how are you guys? Good morning, good morning. This just restarted my replay, and I'm wondering if... Alright, True's in the house. What's up, guys? This just restarted. People were actually going to get... What's good? What's good? I was wondering if people were actually going to get online. Collude, what's up? So, guys, we're up about 40 pips from a position that... This is the 8-hour chart. About 3 a.m. this morning. Fire it off along. Look at the daily. So guys, we have a nice setup here where we've been long pretty much since the 28th. We've had a nice long pop here. This level here indicates where a lot of chop started last night at 1377. We dipped down, and then once we shot past 1380, prime went long. We've been long since 1380, so it's about 42 pips right now, and looks like we're actually going to have another pop upward. So remember I told you, once we start getting towards being a little toppy here, what happens is, well, actually what we would do to de-risk is when 8:30 rolls around, we would de-risk this position. We could de-risk this position. Right now we're already up 40 pips, so we would just sell out of the market prior to the 8:30 p.m. non-farm payroll news. Remember I told you guys it's all about controlling your risk, right? And so right now we're in a profitable position, so we would want to actually go and take our profits if we're already up 40 pips. We could ride this a little longer. Prime is showing that this is going to go higher. So, however, that can turn very quickly with the news announcements. And so it's not a matter of us trying to pick the absolute best position, but we're also trying to de-risk. Alright? So traders once again came in with force this morning and started buying the euro, and that has been the news all along. You know, that has been the news, is that when everything looks peachy, euro is going to pop. Okay? And that's been the case. But will it be the case at 8:30 a.m.? Kerr, what's up? Will it be the case at 8:30 a.m.? We're not sure. So we would just take our profits here. Jose, what's up? And we would de-risk our position by taking everything off the table because we're already profitable. And just take it off the table before the news announcement. And that's the best way to play it. You don't want to be in the market. You know, we're up 40 pips. This could turn very quickly with the news announcement. Alright, so I wanted to hop online early, give you guys an idea of the position that was taken at about 3 a.m. this morning. Now, how do we play it from here? Well, we don't take a position right now because we got about 20 minutes, actually 26 minutes, and no, 29 minutes until, sorry, we got 19 minutes until the non-farm payrolls comes out. So, yeah, we're about 20 minutes away, and when that report comes out, you can expect some volatility. However, I do think the end result will be a pop a little bit higher, but we're not going to play that. We're not going to play that because why? We've been winning so much. We're up over 260 pips so far this week. You know, actually, it's even more than 260 pips this week. We're up 260 pips in the last 3 days. So, are we going to risk taking a hit to that 260 pip gain so far this week? No way, man. And so we have to look at that perspective as a coin flip. Why is who up? Why is the euro up? This is the euro currency versus the USD currency. This is a cross. Euro USD cross. Samuel Lee. Oh, I see a lot of new guys coming in the room. Thank you for coming in the room. Please introduce yourself. Don't be shy. We kill pips daily. For those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Jay Salvati. I am an algorithm designer. I trade the markets. Yeah, that's the Euro USD cross, and basically, what you're looking at in that screen is an algorithm that is designed to take profits. Who does that? Yep. Lots of people trade the euro. It's hot. There's a lot of volatility in the euro right now. Cold Fire, welcome. Good morning. No, I would not trade the non-farm payrolls. We're already up 260 pips this week. The algorithm that I use is designed to take positions regardless of what the news is. I do see another pop higher, but I wouldn't risk it. I would not risk it because it's all about risk versus reward. You know what I mean? And the idea with risk versus reward is if you're going to take a position now, like the position that the system is showing is that we're going to take another pop higher. There's another round of orders to go higher. So you could take a long position and then just place a really tight stop. It's not automated. It's basically a system that tells me ahead of time what the most probabilistic play, high probability play is going to be. So it's running that system, and we've caught every single Fed announcement for the last 2 weeks, and I've been talking about, and you guys followed me the whole time with commentary the whole last 2 weeks. Whenever the Fed had an announcement or whenever Yellen talked, we caught 200 pips. We caught 242 pips at one point. System take into account the date. Not sure what you mean by that. It's constantly updating. So yes, it's an algorithmic system. So, and you can see we're popping right now. We're 1435. And so, hello, good morning. 1437. So we've been long from 1380, and it'll be interesting. Let's just play it along live. I'll stay on for the next 15 minutes. System is saying that we're gonna stay long, and then I would probably cut it really quick. But it'll be interesting to see how non-farm payrolls affects it. I didn't see that last question. Can the algorithm be automated to a training bot? Any algorithm can. Any algorithm can. Liu Kang, what's up? Good morning. But I explained a few scopes ago. I explained why you do not want to have a totally automated system. What's up, brother? If you remember me telling you the story about Knight Capital, yeah, they had a really nice automated system that lost $10 million a minute. They lost $450 million in a single day because they couldn't find what server the system that was making the faulty orders on. They couldn't find what system that was. Yeah, gambling is not trading. Automated systems are not all they're cracked up to be. So basically a system can guide you, but yeah, they had risk firewalls. Unfortunately, that one particular server had some way of bypassing it. They did try to cut the system off. They had so many systems running that they had 9 different servers. And so they had to go server by server to try and find the algorithm that was actually executing the bad orders. And they had multiple systems to parse through. So by the time they found it, and they did find it, it had already lost $450 million. Bearish and bullish come in different sizes. Yes, of course. Depending on your time series, depending on how many candles you're trying to count. So we're just chilling here, waiting for non-farm payrolls. It's looking really weak though. Yeah, I would probably cut the long position right here. You know, we're up 50 pips at this point, so it's like, why take risk? No, I don't trade it as a hobby. I do this full time. We're pitching. How do we bank on your algorithm? How do you bank on the algorithm? Well, I may make it available. Bragging or pitching? I just like hopping online. I guess it's a little bragging. Yeah, it's bragging. It took me 5 years to make, so yeah, it's bragging. This is on the Thinkorswim platform, so it's through TD Ameritrade. Alright, so we've got 12 minutes. 12 minutes. It'll be interesting. Yo's looking kind of weak now. So we have some longer series charts that are showing a lot of weakness, but would you recommend any broker? No. It depends on where you are. It depends on a lot of things. So, you know, recommending a broker as of right now, I would have to have a lot of information about you. You basically need someone that has connectivity to the market, and it's real time. This system trades a bunch of crosses. Leverage, usually 50 to 1. Yeah, we're getting some nice weakness in the market now. And actually, there's a couple of other indicators that are showing that we're gonna have a decent sell-off here. This could be a nice sell-off. But in terms of the daily, Prime hasn't yet fired off short. So if we go to different time frames, then we get to see exactly what's happening. Okay, and basically weakness is coming into the market. A lot of people are de-risking ahead of this non-farm payrolls, and so that is automatically going to create some of the short positions as people take risk off the table. They are basically going to start de-risking, and we're going to have a nice short coming up. We may get some volatility early on, and the volatility that we're going to experience will ultimately, you know, there's going to be a nice short position coming up within the next couple of hours. No products. I don't have time for products. We're here to talk about Forex. We're here to talk about killing some pips, man. That's all I care about, is killing pips. I don't know about you. That's all I care about, is killing pips. We're talking about making Forbes. We're talking about G-Eazy making Forbes. That's all we're talking about. Pip is a point in percentage. It's a unit of measurement in the currency markets. Well, then get off the feed if you don't want to make money. I don't know. You guys must think that I'm here to entertain your comments about shit that is not Forex related. I'm not. Don't really care about stuff that's not Forex related. We're here to make money. We're here to be serious. We're here to drink coffee and get money. Right. I mean, look, I could let people like come into the room and talk about, you know, whatever. Talk about the Lakers game or whatever, but do I really care? No. Don't really care. That's not going to put money in my pocket. Non-farm payrolls is what is the topic of discussion, ladies and gentlemen. Non-farm payrolls are on deck. Non-farm payrolls are on deck, and that's what people care about right now in this room. So, yeah, man. Oh, market's looking really weak. I expect a good amount of volatility, and if this does pop, if it does pop, what you're going to see is after the pop, we're going to have a nice sell-off going into next week. So early next week, we may actually have some decent selling, man, in the euro. Now we have to take in consideration if there's going to be another Fed announcement. It's pretty interesting how. Bonjour. Thank you for joining. I do not trade binary options. A lot of people ask that, but there's a reason why you would not want to trade binary options, okay? And the reason is that I won't go into it, but the reason is that you're adding another variable you're stacking another variable in the house's favor when you trade binary options, and that favor is time. So obviously when you make a call, if it's restricted by time, you have to be that much more precise with your mathematics and your statistical analysis, because now they're adding time into the equation. You not only have to be right about the direction, but it has to occur in a certain amount of time, right? So basically, like if someone that's disrespectful comes into the room, well, there's a very high chance that they were going to get blocked, right? But, you know, it's just a matter of time before they get blocked. But if you wanted to bet on how much time, it's hard to do that because some people have bigger mouths than other people. Yeah, so now we've got some selling occurring in the market. You can see that a lot of people do not want to be in the market ahead of non-farm payrolls. And so now you can see how people de-risk. Unfortunately, man, these traders are de-risking at 825. I would have already taken Prime already said, cut the position about 15 minutes ago. So, cutting your position 5 minutes ahead of time, you can see how you're already going to take a loss because traders already started cutting their position a half hour ago, So just keep that in mind, guys. When you de-risk ahead of a news event, if you're not going to play the news event, you got to understand that people are already going to de-risk a half hour ahead of that news event. They've already started that. Even in the currency markets where there's a lot of liquidity, it's still going to cause the price to go down because there's going to be that many people and that many banks and institutions and hedge funds and fund of funds. They're all going to start deleveraging. They're all going to start taking the risk off the table, and that's automatically going to cause a price decrease. What indicators? I use proprietary indicators. They're all coded by me, and so now price action is going back up. Remember, I told you guys we're probably going to get another pop. So you have two instances occurring. You have the people de-risking before the news announcement, causes the price to go down, and then you have what algorithmic positions are being taken based upon that. And so if we were supposed to have, say, another wave of price action upward prior to the news occurring, it's going to happen regardless. We may get a dip with the news, but then we're going to see another pop up, and that's what would occur because the algorithms are going to buy based upon statistical arbitrage and some other types of mathematics. If the price wave was already going to be up, the news may cause a dip, but that would only cause more buying by the algorithms because they're going to try and pop it up because that was the actual play before the news, okay? And so you have all these people de-risking going into the news, but the algorithms are saying, no, statistically we're going to go upward, we're going to have another flight upward, and that occurs regardless of what the news event is. So you may get that extreme volatility downward. You may get 80 pips downward, but then what's going to happen is the algorithms are going to kick in, and they're going to start buying at that level, shoot the price upward again. But that does not change the overall course of this Euro market, the Euro USD being very top heavy right now. And so over the course of the next week, I would expect to see some selling, some hard selling. And it may occur as early as Monday or Sunday night even. If it occurs on Sunday night, then you know it's a serious sell. All right, 3 minutes, let's see. Let us see. See, what's pretty interesting is that, you know, we could get another 2 hours of buying after this news report, and people are going to be like, oh, news is very negative, right? Because the euro is rising, jobs report is probably going to be negative. And that's what the algorithm is showing. Jobs report is probably going to be euro positive. However, that does not change the fact that the euro is top heavy. So it'll be euro positive at the instance of the news event, and then from there, next week we're going to have some selling. In terms of exact timing, do I want to play that? No. But this 1377 level, which is where we had the original ceiling put in by Prime, when an algorithm has basically, there will be levels at which algorithms are discerning whether to go long or short, okay? And basically what the high frequency systems do is they test the bid ask on either side of that level. And so oftentimes an algorithm will fire long and short around the same price. That is a price level that multiple algorithms have determined as being the resistance to the top. We went through that this morning, right? Everybody wanted to get in positions early ahead of the non-farms. So what happens is we get a price level that spikes through that. However, the next time price goes through that from the top, meaning that it's now support, algorithms are going to note that, and they're going to take that as a basically a tip of the hand, or a tip of the card, a tip of the poker hand, so to speak, as to a long-term short position being established by multiple algorithms. Alright, so we got less than a minute, and it'll be interesting to see. Boom, there it goes. Alright, we've got a dip. Let's see if we go through 1377. I'm thinking that we will not go through 1377. We're going to get a pop upwards. You guys see that? Boom. Instant dip downwards. Okay, we've got multiple, I'm running multiple algorithms here, obviously. But look at that candle. But you see that price level at 1377? I'm thinking we're not going to go through that, guys. We're probably going to get another pop upwards, because we have another wave of buying to satisfy in the market. So let's see what was released. Will it be euro positive? So you see the dip occurs, right? Algorithms know that there's another wave of buying to satisfy. And so when that dip occurs, they just use it as a buying opportunity to keep riding it. However, since we're so toppy, at some point, geez, I need to start holding this thing better. At some point, we're going to experience selling, because traders are going to start positioning themselves for next week. Payrolls in the U.S. increased 215K. As wages pick up. Now we all know that's a bunch of bullshit. let's just be honest, okay? Let's just be honest. Payrolls did not pick up. Let's just call it. I'm gonna say payrolls did not pick up. Realistically, payrolls did not pick up. You know how I know that? Because BlackRock, 400 people, man. BlackRock wouldn't be firing 400 people. So, you know, these statistical reports that come out, you can say, oh man, you know, that's very positive for the economy, but it's really not. Besides, everything is lagging. By the time someone makes a report, it's already months lagging. It's not truly indicative of the situation at that time. So you guys see how there's a lot of volatility, and that's why it does make sense to de-risk. Because if you don't want the volatility, even if the volatility goes in your way, you got to understand that large portfolios, they have to maintain a certain level of standard deviation in their plays, right? They can't allow for a large amount of volatility because they're going off of the Sharpe ratio, and so that's the common statistics that they use to determine the risk of their portfolio is based upon Sharpe ratio, right? So anyways, guys, I'm watching the 1377 level. Once we go through that, we may get another spike upward, but once we go through that, it's fair to say that it's not looking good for the euro. Heading into next week, what's the play that we're going to have? Who knows? We'll just wait for Prime to show us. And that's why I like taking my emotional baggage and putting it somewhere where it doesn't need to be fed, because we're trading based upon an algorithm. That's basically it. So I'm not going to worry about the actual price action. I'm just going to let things determine what needs to be taken in terms of position. I'm just going to let math determine that. I'm not going to have emotion in any way, shape, or form involving these types of positions. Whether you're in a loss or not, you got to understand that the drawdowns that occur could be just a short-term drawdown, and in terms of mathematics, that's usually the case. That's usually the case. You see how negative people just drop out when you start talking about money? They don't understand that talk. They don't understand that talk. They're like, it's 8:35 a.m. and you're talking about money? That doesn't make sense to them. That doesn't make sense. You know why? Because they don't wake with money on their mind. They're not after it. They're not after it. See, this 1377 level is holding up, but if it doesn't, not going to be good. Not going to be good if it doesn't hold up. I'm looking at 1387. So guys, Q&A time. Sound off. 10 minutes of Q&A. Let's do it. 10 minutes of Q&A. Let's do it. Let's do it. Are you guys all watching from the web? Are you guys all watching on a commute? If you're driving, then of course do not comment, obviously. Is anybody in this room? I haven't seen hearts. Am I talking to myself? Is this number all fake? I'm thinking this number's fake over here. It's saying there's people in this room and I'm just talking to myself. What software do I use? I use a bunch of different software. Oh, geez. In terms of trading, I'm on the Thinkorswim platform. There was like this brief moment where it was like, just stuck at like 8 people, and there was like no hearts, no comments, no nothing, and I was like, oh man. Because when I first came into the room and I turned on the broadcast, it actually shut me off immediately, and it said, you know, there was a banner across the top that said, we're sorry, your broadcast is not working. Please try to start your broadcast again. So I was like, oh great, it cut out. Periscope has been having some issues, man. You know, I notice a lot of people drop off and then come back in because, you know, whatever's happening on Periscope's end, they're just not having connectivity the way it should. That's gonna kill their app, man. They need to know that. Of course they know that. But nobody wants to have connectivity issues with live streaming because it's a pain in the ass to keep rejoining a room. But I guess it happens. You know, if they had an algorithm that just determined like people who had the weakest signals, that, you know, it just drops those people off the broadcast, it would be better for everybody else that has a strong signal. But that probably wouldn't be good, because then if anybody who's traveling, including the broadcaster themselves, would end up getting shafted. So I don't know how they want to do that, but they need to come up with something. They didn't think it would get so big. Yeah, you know, that's always a problem. If it grows too fast, you know, you have to get multiple servers. Streaming eats broadband. So streaming just eats broadband, and it's expensive. It's not cheap to get when it comes to streaming. So I sympathize with them, but if that's your whole business plan, and you know you're going to be using that much streaming, you got to make some really, really good connections with servers and hosting companies ahead of time. Funny, what's up? What's up? So guys, we're at 1403. That 1377 held up, and like I said, I think we're going to take another wave upward. You know, we're going to take another wave upward right now, and I don't know if we'll take out the 1437 high. That was the high at 1437 in the euro. I don't think we're going to take out that high. Really? That sucks. So wait a second, how are you seeing this then? How are you viewing this? Are you at an office location? See, now we're getting this huge candle come up backwards. Remember I told you if 1377 holds up, we get that wave back upwards, because that is where the price action was going anyways. Download is fine, uploading is bad. Interesting. What part of Australia are you in? Just so I can take reference. If I go there on vacation, I'm going to have to find somewhere with some crazy internet speeds. Are you on the west coast of Australia? I hear it's very desolate out there. And it keeps reconnecting? Oh man, that sucks. I hate when that happens. So right now we're at 1429. It looks like we're right back to where we started. Remember I just told you guys that the news event, this is so fun. I was talking about this. I said we were going to take another wave upward, and here we are, another wave upward. 1430, 32. Hold on, one second. There we go. So you see how that price action occurs? That dip in price just served as a great entry for the algorithms to go higher again. I don't know, 1437 might come to get you, 1437. How crazy is it though that Prime did not fire off short with that huge dip? The algorithm on the daily chart did not fire off short. Now, what would be the reaction from a discretionary trader when you're long in this position? The reaction from a discretionary trader that sees that candle retrace like that is what? Come on, guys, give me some answers here. If you were long in this position from 1377 and you saw that candle retrace, what would have been your reaction? 99% of discretionary traders would have exited when they should have bought. Right, bail. And they would have bailed on the loss. But the algorithm kept us from bailing on the loss. And see, now the retracement is non-existent. It just came back up. And that's the difference between discretionary trading and systems trading. Is that the system, even though a retracement occurs, the system is going based off statistics. And so, believe it or not, when this algorithm is long, you could be placing buys all along this until, now we're talking daily charts here. So you might have, you would have to check your risk, because you could have a retracement that lasts a day. But the point is that when that retracement in that candle happened, 99% of discretionary traders would have bailed at the exact wrong moment. They would have bailed when the price retraced, when the right time to bail would have been 30 minutes before the non-farm payroll. Right? You see the difference here. You see the difference, because that difference was 40 pips, 50 pips right there. And so that's where the algorithm keeps you from making mistakes. If you are employing an algorithm, whether it's completely automated or half automated, some discretional, if you're pulling the trigger on a discretional basis, but the algorithm is doing the hard work for you and determining what are the proper levels to take shorts and longs, then of course you would see that just saved you 50 pips. And if it retraces again, it retraces again. But the point is that we wouldn't have taken that 50 pip hit. We still would have been net, up 10, 15 pips, even if you were taking that emotional trade. However, you missed out. That time value is gone, right? That time is gone. So all that time that you were in the market and you kept your portfolio exposed to changes in the volatility, you didn't get paid for it if you took the sell when that candle retraced. All right. So that's the play for this morning, guys. What do I expect for the rest of the day? Who knows? Right now the system is long. This is the daily. If we were going to try and make a play for the rest of the day, we'd have to switch to a 2-hour or 4-hour time chart. And right now I got a lot of stuff to do. But, like I said on the scope last night, I'm going to find a way to make this available to you guys. It's got to be win-win. I do not enter any type of position with, clients or customers or anything like that unless it's win-win 100%. And so I'm going to find a way to make it win-win, to where I've been coding this for 5 years. Obviously, I did not get paid during that time. So obviously, I've got to make a profit. But at the same rate, it's got to be bringing value to you guys so that you guys are always making profits as well. So it's not even a hard decision. We just got to find a way to make it work both ways. And so I'm actually crunching some numbers, and I'll see what I come up with. Whatever I do come up with, you can bet that it's going to provide value for both of us. So you don't have to worry about that. All right, guys. So if you guys are not connected with me on social media, feel free to take a screenshot here. Reach out to me on Twitter, guys. #FXPrime, #PipKillers. I want some questions. I want some dialogue with you guys, all right? If I'm helping you or if you guys have any questions, feel free to shout me a testimonial. Let me know how I'm helping you on Twitter. That means a lot to me. That means a lot to me, guys. And then also the questions mean a lot because it forces me to think, all right? Try to stump me. Please try to stump me. If there's a question, ma'am, Pam account next time. Give me a little bit more of explanation on what you mean. So try and stump me, guys. Try and stump me with the questions regarding, intermarket analysis or taking positions or anything like that, please. We're only going to get better by it. And connect with me on Instagram. Please do connect with me on Instagram. How are they worth doing? What do you mean by that? Kerr, I'm not sure what you mean. So, looks like there's a lot of blah right now, a lot of indecision. We've had two very large candles, though, two very large candles and nice opportunities to take advantage of. However, price is probably going to pop back up because we have a nice wave. You know, we have that wave. We have one more wave of buying to fulfill. And if you guys don't know what I'm talking about when I say that, it's because I have other indicators and systems that are at play that actually assist Prime in making the decision of when to go short and when to go long. So basically right now there are other systems that are indicating that we should take a long position. Very short term though. Probably within the hour I would want to be out. So you see how the action though, this action is occurring, all this action even from 3 a.m. onward we had buying, and it is pretty indicative of Europe trying to get ahead of U.S. non-farm payroll. Well, I'm not familiar with that, to be honest. And I'm not familiar with your broker. I'm sure that they have some rules. You know, each broker has rules in terms of risk. And so oh, okay. Yeah, I'll research that, to be honest. You know, when it comes to managing other people's money, there's always something that you have to take into consideration, is that you have to be a fiduciary responsibility to those people. You know, there's probably a lot of accounting involved with determining, you know, if you have a fund that's managing the money, of course, the fund is going to dictate how that money is allocated throughout accounts. And so, you know, the proper person to speak to on that would probably be someone who is a hedge fund tax accountant, all right? Someone who's familiar with the tax aspect. Because if you're managing other people's money, then obviously there has to be a lot of consideration for taxes and for how the reinvestment occurs and the different accounts and how they're set up. This is pretty interesting though. I'll research it and let you know. Alright? And there's also going to be a lot of changes in terms of regulatory aspects. So, you know, if you're reading something that's on MAMPAM, you know, versus those types of accounts, you have to make sure it's up to date, because we don't know if, you know, essentially if those, you know, rules and regulations are the same in 2012 or 2013 or 2014. You know, they change the risk parameters literally every single month. And so we have to be aware of that whenever you're setting up accounts. But I'm going to research that today, Kurt. I don't manage multiple accounts when it comes to Forex. That's my own account. But when it comes to having things commingled, you always have to watch out for those types of definitions. Are you in the U.S.? I remember seeing, tell me where you're from again, so this way I can try to associate. Yeah, New York. Alright. I'm going to research it. I'll get back to you on that. Alright, so is this spike going to occur? I have no idea. It's pretty funny how that 1437 level held. The 1377 held. And so we're kind of in between those two levels right now. But I can tell you that in the long term, 1377 is going to fall. It's going to fall. It's just a question of when. Will it fall today? I don't know. It's likely to fall today. Anyways, I'm going to get going, guys. I appreciate the comments, questions, and I appreciate the attention. We can see in this case that the best decision would have been to de-risk ahead of time, just to save the volatility, you know, because now we're getting another retracement in that daily candle. And, you know, fact of the matter is that even though we're supposed to have another round of buying, it seems like it all occurred. It could have all occurred in that little instance. But if we get another pop, that would be our out right there. And it looks like we're coming up on the 1377 level. If it breaks through that, Prime is likely going to say sell, assuming that there's no information in the system, because that's the level that it had already had decisions, you know, indecision with prior, and also a lot of other algorithms at that 1377 level were very confused on whether to buy or sell. So we'll have to see how it plays out. But the move to make was this morning at about 3 or 4 a.m., which of course for those of us that are on the East Coast is a hard move to make. We would have had to stay up. But what we do now is we take note of that for our next trade. Going forward, if we know that there's a non-farm payroll announcement, okay, we know that the positions are going to take hours beforehand. There's going to be a lot of positions taken, and then de-risking occurred 15 minutes before NFP. So we write that down, and we keep that under our NFP area. And then when it comes time to code, we know that, hey, historically, we got to look out for this, okay? We had deleveraging about 15 minutes to 20 minutes ahead of NFP, and then also the positions that were taken were in favor of the trend, and were taken about 4 hours prior to the NFP, right? So 3 to 4 hours prior. So we write that down, and then next time NFP comes up, we pay attention to that. We see how the algorithm is reacting, and we make sure that everything is reacting according to that same trend. People tend to react the same exact ways. The banks that were entering positions and exiting positions, they might have the same exact play going into the next NFP. So that's just something we look out for. And it's funny how 1377 is just being stubborn, man. 1377 is probably going to hold. I'm probably going to hop on the weekend. And I may hop on later today. If Prime does take a short position later today at that 1377 level, if we break through that, then I'm going to hop on and let you guys know. Even if Prime takes a short position ahead of the 1377 level, because now we have an extra candle of information that's going to be taken into consideration. That extra candle of information could actually change the 1377 level. Prime might actually go short ahead of that. So we'll see. All right? So you guys have a great day. Daydreamer, what's up? You just missed a great scope. You can hop on the replay. Thank you for the hearts, guys. We surpassed, I think, 110K in the hearts. So I appreciate that. Let me just see the screen reload. Oh, we're at 108K hearts. 108K hearts. I don't know if that updates after I get off the scope, though. So I'm willing to bet that we'll get somewhere around 110K hearts today. I appreciate that. And we're starting to get around 900 followers. So all the invitations to your followers are really appreciated. I'm going hard for that 1,000 follower milestone. And hopefully once we get there, what I'd like to do is start really making a schedule to the scopes. So this way I can hop on early, get into a nice schedule, make a call, make a play, have some discussion, and obviously once I get 1,000 followers, then it's going to be worth it to actually keep that schedule. So this way everybody can kind of get on the same page. Doing the random scopes works as well, so I'll surprise you guys with that regardless of whether or not we're on a schedule. But you know, I want to make sure that all these plays that have been happening in the euro, a lot of the currency plays are happening, you know, early in the morning, 3, 4, 5, 6 a.m. And we're going to have to find a strategy for that, all right? And I will find a strategy for that. So going forward, you guys have a great day. It's going to be a beautiful day, supposedly, here in the Northeast. We've got nice weather on deck, I believe. High of 72, partly cloudy. So not bad. We need that weather here in the Northeast. If you guys are elsewhere, hopefully your weather cooperates with your plans. Strategy is Australians. I need to make it out there, man. I saw a picture of some wreck diving out in Australia, and the water was just insanely beautiful, insanely crystal clear. I don't know where it was, though. I have to find that picture again. But, so, what's the play going forward, guys? The play going forward is, since the algorithm is still long, we would take a long position. Right now it's 1400. We would still take that long position, but we would place a tight stop on it. Obviously, if you guys aren't trading, Queensland, probably. If you guys are trading without an algorithm, the idea is that you would want to keep risk in your favor at all times. So you would take a position if someone would say, hey, you know, my algorithm's saying going long or going short. You take a position in that direction and just keep a tight stop. Hopefully the algorithm carries through on that position, and then you get maybe 20, 30 pips out of it. You take your 20, 30 pip profit, and then, you know, like I said, next week is probably going to be a lot of selling early in the week. That's what it's looking like in terms of all the algorithms that I'm looking at. So, you know, we just have to be aware of that we don't want to take a long position over the weekend. That will kind of be a high-risk play. Not kind of be. That is a high-risk play. And so my advice to anybody that's new in the market would be to find all the instances where there's a large amount of risk and just take them off the table. You don't want to have high risk situations, especially if you're a newbie, and especially if you're not trading on an algorithm. So, Professor Pipkiller in the house. What's up, Diaz? So, what do we take off the table? We take off, you know, overnight holdings. We don't want to hold overnight, all right? Because if you were sleeping last night and you were not up by 3 a.m. and you took a short position, you got smashed in the morning. So we take the overnight positions off the table. We take the weekend positions off the table. We take all the positions before news events and after news events essentially off the table. And so those are the three things that we take off the table. And with those three things, we just eliminated quite a lot of risk. And now we can start looking at a strategy. Because when you take on high amounts of risk, your strategy does not work no matter what your strategy is. Alright? Because you're essentially leaving the volatility in the hands of the market instead of trying to capture the volatility yourself. The strategy should capture volatility at all times, and if it does not, it's not a strategy. That's called gambling. Right? So, risk management. I've been stressing from day one, risk management, risk management. And even though we don't trade binary options, we make binary decisions, okay? We make binary decisions based upon probability. And depending on if the probability is in our favor or not, that dictates how strong we go with our money management. All right? So we can cover lots of that stuff in the future. However, point being is that if you do go long right now, you've got to make sure you do not hold the position into the weekend. Place a nice stop. If you get a pop-up, take your profits. And we should get a little pop-up, but take the profits. If you get 20 or 30 pips out of it, take the profits. All right? Right now, I'd probably say it's pushing it to go 2-to-1 reward versus risk. You're probably not going to get a reward going to the upside that's twice as big as the risk to the downside, just because we've got the shorts coming into the market probably first thing Sunday night. you could probably see that China and the Asian markets will be very quick to short this rally that occurred from this morning in the euro. All right. So, but then again, that's what Asia does. They're competing. This is a currency competition, guys. Understand that's why we're trading the currency markets, because from this point forward, it's going to be a currency competition downward to see who can devalue faster. All right? So, something to take into consideration. Economics 101 at play. All right, you guys have a great day. Thank you so much for hopping on. I will catch you later on in the day, most likely. I'm going to be coding all day today. Thank you, True. Diaz, appreciate you guys. Kerr, all of you guys that are regulars, I really appreciate you guys. And I'm going to I'm going to try and set you guys up with a gift as soon as I get a little bit more coded and I get a better idea of how I want to go about, either providing this to people as a SaaS service or what have you. Music, appreciate you coming into the room. Appreciate all you guys. What code? Multiple languages. I do most of my testing in Python and then most of my coding in ThinkScript, which is very similar to a lot of the C languages. So basically, if you want to start learning, I would say Python and C languages, whether it's C# or C++. It doesn't really matter. There's a lot of speed concerns when it comes to the coding languages, but the bottom line is that if you know how to think logically, that's the most important thing, is that coding will teach you how to think logically. Okay? All right, guys, have a great day. Enjoy the morning. Get some coffee. Awesome, Music. That's awesome. Have a great day. Get some coffee and you start thinking about the notes that we took. Hello. Felicia, I'm about to hop off. I apologize. But you can catch the replay. We discussed a lot of things with finance and trading the markets in the Euro USD. So if you're into currency trading, you would find that probably very valuable. So get some coffee in you. And by the way, guys, I'm going to show you what the best coffee in the U.S. to get is. Oh, well, you're not like me then. Last night I had my last cup of coffee at like 11 p.m. It was my last cup of coffee, and I had so much difficulty waking up. But that's the life of a coder, man. Let me tell you. Coffee is just like pounding coffee. It's not good. This morning I'm gonna have some tea. I don't put anything in my coffee. What's up, Diego? How are you guys? It's daytime. Yeah, nice. And it's so funny how like everybody's on different time zones, but it's like, oh, we all have like the same routines, no matter what the time zone is. My routine is coffee and tea. I'm about to have some tea. I got this awesome black tea from Nepal. It tastes so good. It's so strong. Lots of tannins in the tea. If you put cream in your coffee, make sure that it's organic, all right? Make sure that's not processed cream, all right? And I'm going to show you guys. Actually, I should do a scope on my daily routine. I think you guys would like to see my daily routine. I don't know if you guys know this, but at one point I was a trainer for 20 years. I was a personal trainer for 20 years. Can you imagine that shit? I might not look like I could be a personal trainer for 20 years. Everybody's like, wait a second, you're over 25 years old? And I'm like, yeah, I'm 35. So they look at me and they do a double take, and because they think I'm joking with them, they think I'm shitting with them, you know. So, but the funny thing is that throughout that time, I've of course, no matter what, I'm gonna keep my health. I still work out on a daily basis. Every single day I work out, even if it's just yoga. So I may do a so-called active rest workout, which is basically like yoga or rolling out or massage or something like that, where it's a little bit lighter. But literally every single day I have my routine down to the minute. So, but we'll cover that in a later scope. I'm taking too much of your time. Awesome, Felicia. Awesome. Yeah, I could not function in the markets without working out. It's the best way to de-stress and to stay focused and to keep your brain on point. So when it comes to decision making, you have to have oxygen in your brain. Bail Buddy, what's up, bud? I'm about to hop off. Great to see you in the room, man. So sorry that I'm about to hop off, but you can catch the replay. We discussed non-farm payrolls. We discussed all the news surrounding that, strategy, etc., etc. What's up, player? Yeah, it's awesome. Working out is the best, in my opinion, it's the best way to distress and stay focused, especially if you're a business person or in finance or in trading. Drippin' love, man. I appreciate the hearts. I know that you guys, even if you just come in here to give a few hearts, I appreciate that. I know everybody's busy, and so you may not be able to stay on the scope forever. Appreciate the invite, man. But I still appreciate all the invites and the hearts, and that goes a long way in terms of what people can do with business building, because proof of concept is so important when it comes to business building. And that's one of the proofs of concept, is if people are following your Periscope and your social media accounts, that's just the base element to proof of concept. I wouldn't be able to come on here and talk to you guys if I wasn't getting love back, because then it's obviously that I would not be self-perceived as giving value. And so if your perception to yourself is that you're not giving value, of course you won't follow through with it. But if you can give value, and if I see the feedback from you guys, if you guys are saying, yeah, you are giving value, if it's not just me in my own world, then obviously I'm going to hop on a lot more often and discuss more, finance, economics, trading, whatever it be. I'm also into life hacking too. Yeah, I'll be on tonight. Friday night, man. I'm getting geared up for next week. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Sunday I may take some time off to go have coffee with a friend, but I'll still be on Sunday night. My connection to you guys, it's part of my lifestyle. Trading is my life. It honestly is. 24 and just getting started with trading and fitness. That's a great age. Great age, man. If I could go back 10 years and just get started. Actually, that's when I started trading. Was at about 23 years of age. I'd always studied finance, but I didn't actually get my feet wet until about that age. All right, sounds great, brother. Sounds great. Reach out to me on Twitter, guys. Let me just leave you guys with all of my social networks so you can take a screenshot and reach out to me. So you guys can screenshot that. If you need to reach out to me on Twitter, hashtag FXPrime, hashtag Pipkillas. And guess what we're ending with? We're ending with some Ace Hood. Goals, baby, goals. Oh, that's awesome, Music. Robotics is an awesome field. That is an awesome field. That's an awesome background. I commend you on that. Goals, baby, goals. Alright, guys, you have a great day. Thank you for spending time with me. Or investing time with me. We don't spend, we invest, baby. We invest. Peace, Bale. You guys have a great day. Get some coffee. Kill the markets. Ciao. Yeah, it's ahead of its time. Don't worry about that. Don't worry. That's only right now, Music. Keep forward looking. In 5 years, all that you're learning is going to come back to you. Yeah. Don't worry about that. Be concerned where the market's going. Not where it's at. It's not about where the market's at. It's about where the market's going, baby. All right, guys. Have a great one.